Hello, in this video we're going to talk about the first homework assignment, and that is creating rectangles. So in the first assignment, because you're going to build off this assignment 3 more times, so you need to get this assignment first. Please read all the instructions of creating rectangles. They can be found under assignments, and this is assignment 1. Okay, so you're going to create 3 distinct rectangle objects and a square object. Now, let me show you something. I have a rectangle here. This is a rectangle object. It has a length and a width. And we know the area is length times width. And we know the perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Those are dimensions of the rectangle, and those will represent a rectangle. So you can consider length and width a variable in C++. Okay, so the object, the rectangle object, is going to be represented by a length and a width, and we're also going to compute the perimeter and the area. Now, if I want another rectangle object, I can do one of 2 things. I can modify this rectangle object to like 7, 5, and 1, but is that really creating another rectangle object? No, it is not. I still only have one rectangle object. I've just changed the dimensions of that rectangle. So when I say you must create 3 distinct rectangle objects, it's basically not copying, because you can't really do that in C++, but you're making 3 distinct representations of a rectangle object. Then you are also going to make one square object where the width and that looks about the same. The width and the length are the same. So let's go to the code. Now be sure you read the instructions. I'm very specific on what you need to say for inputs, what your output should look like. But let's go to some code. So I'm going to start a new project. I'm going to call this rectangle. Well, first, let's make it a C++. And I'll click next. I'm going to call it rectangle. Rectangle. And I don't want it to go into my chapter 5 directory. I want to just put it in my project directory. Select this folder. Click create. Now, let's wait for a second. So I have a rectangle.cpp file. Now this is just some starter code. It's a template that Microsoft Visual Studio made for us. So I'm going to delete all this because I don't need it. We definitely include IOStream, and I'm going to type in using namespace standard because it gives me some shortcuts. Now remember, a rectangle is based on length and width. So I'm going to create some parameters, and I'm going to make them doubles because rectangles are not just integers. So I'm going to call it len1 width 1. Actually, I'm just going to spell all these out. Length 1, width 1, perimeter 1, and area 1. So that will represent my rectangle. Now I'm going to ask the user, I'm going to create a prompt for the user to enter the dimensions of the rectangle. Please enter the width of the rectangle. And I'm not going to include an indel here because you don't want to include indels on prompt. Now I'm going to read that data in to my width. Now I'm going to prompt cout please enter the length of the rectangle. And include my semicolon and read that data in. Now I have the dimensions of my first rectangle. I know what the area and the perimeter is based on the width and the length. So I am not going to ask for that data. I'm just going to compute it here. I'm going to say perimeter 1 equals len length 1 plus width 1, and I did make a mistake, so I will fix that right now. 2 times width 1 and 2 times length 1, and I've written squiggly here. Let's see what that's all about. Length. Did I misspell that? Oh, I forgot the G up here. So GTH. There we go. And now I can compute my area. Area 1 equals len length 1 times perimeter 1. Now, the only thing left to do is to output the dimensions. So I'm going to cout you entered a rectangle with the following dimensions. And now I'm going to put an indel. In fact, I'm going to put 2 indels to skip a line. And let me fix this here. Let me cout. Now I want to indent the second line to make it look like it belongs to part of the first line. So I'm going to use this fancy character \t, remember, that's going to put a tab. Width equals divided by width 1 cout \t length equals length 1, and I'm going to add an indel here. I should add an indel up here too. And L. Okay. Cout backslash T perimeter equals perimeter 1 indel and cout backslash T area equals area 1 endl. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of this hello world right here. Let's just get rid of that. Now, that is the bulk of my program here. I'm going to run it and see if it works. So let's just start with the integers right now. Let's make it 3 by 5. 3, 5. So we know the area is 15 and the perimeter is 16, right? Length, width, perimeter, and area. Whoa, my area is terribly wrong. 3 times 5 is not 80. So what did I do with area 1? Length 1 times perimeter 1. Let's see that over again. I'm going to put a breakpoint here. Maybe I went too fast. 3, 5. Okay. Perimeter area is, see this negative number here? That's just gobbledygook because it doesn't have a value in it yet. So I'm going to step over and it got 80. So length 1 time, oh, I did perimeter. See, sometimes you make the silliest mistakes. Or I do anyway. Width 1. So let's rerun the program. Just make sure it works. And where is, oh, I gotta get rid of that first. Okay, now 3, 5. Okay, see how here's the output. You enter a rectangle with the following dimensions. And then I do a blank line and then I indent here. Now I have my input. I should really put a blank line between my input and my output just to separate it. Because you always want to make things visually pleasing to the eye. So you can do that a number of ways. I could just have one cout with an indel, or I can just put an indel in front of this. And also, if we look at our output, notice it's left justified, but the equal sign aren't the same. So it's a little difficult to see all the numbers here. So what I'm going to do is make the equal signs all line up. Now I'm going to run it. And let's do real numbers now. 2.4 and 6.2. Okay, now we have our input, a blank line, our output right here, and I print what I'm displaying, followed by a blank line, followed by the dimensions. Now this probably is not exactly the way I asked for it in the assignment. So you have to have your output exactly like this. So when you do your program, you want to mirror this output. Now, I did one rectangle. This program is creating a total of 3 unique rectangle objects. So basically your task will be to duplicate this code 3 times, but not using the same variables. You're going to create separate variables for rectangle 2 and 3. I would just use length 2, width 2, perimeter 2, area 2. And length 3, width 3, perimeter 3, area 3. Don't forget to update all your variables in here and then print it out. For the square, you're only going to have to ask, please enter the side length of the square. Okay, because with the side, all 4 sides are equal. So when you're creating the when you're creating the square, you just want it to look like this. Enter the side length of the square. You created a square with the following characteristics. So that should give you a start on assignment 1. Remember, we are going to build off assignment 1. So you have to get assignment 1 correct before you work on assignment 2, 3, and 4. Good luck, and I'll see you for assignment 2.